Are these better than the regular Canon batteries? Should you get these because they're a fraction of the price? Do they hold up? Is the performance okay? I'll answer all those questions here. Just sit tight. I've always wanted to do that. What's going on, everybody? I'm Aaron, and today we're talking about these batteries for the Canon camera. They might be available for others. This brand, I dropped these, oops. These are Artman batteries, they're LP-E17. When I did research on Artman, it appeared that they were largely for GoPros. That was after I bought these. I just went for it based off good enough reviews. All of the aftermarket ones have some good and some bad reviews, but these generally had only good reviews. It was just less reviewed. I think it had like 90 reviews for 4.5 stars, a little more than that, I think. Oops. First, we'll talk about everything that comes with these batteries, and then we'll talk about the good and then the bad. So first, you get 2 of these batteries. They have a nice little blue color to them, but I think that the paper surrounding it is actually, it makes it a little bit tighter than the Canon cameras to get into the camera, but it doesn't seem to be too much of a concern because it still slides in and it works just fine. You'll also get this charger, which is double slotted, which is really nice, so you can charge both your batteries at the same time. And if you bought this, then you probably at least had a Canon battery, so you can always be charging 2 while you're using the other one, which is a good perk. Now, there is no wall plug or wall wart or whatever it's called. I don't know the technical term for that, but there is nothing to charge this with technically. We all have those little bricks laying around. I know I have a surplus, and you could also charge it in your computer, in your car if you have a car charger. So that shouldn't be too much of a concern. It didn't bother me when I bought these. So the good with these batteries. The first thing that I noticed was that these Canon batteries slide right in it, which is awesome. So now you technically only really need to carry one charger with you. You don't have to worry about the other one. And this is a really convenient charger in my opinion, because when you're traveling, you can just plug it into whatever you're using to charge your phone. The other good is that it lasts almost the exact same amount of time as the Canon batteries. I did a very scientific experiment with these batteries yesterday, and I just put my camera on record while I was, doing stuff around the house, and when it would stop, I'd hit record again. I did that a certain amount of times, and these batteries almost lasted as long as the Canon ones. I wrote down the numbers for each time and then I just added them up, and the Artman batteries lasted 95 minutes and 19 seconds of record time, and the Canon batteries lasted 10 minutes and 88 seconds. Now, this is record time. I did not do a picture test. I'm not that dedicated to you guys because I'm just not. There was pretty much only a 20-minute difference between these 2 batteries, and we also have to consider that that was a very unscientific way to do a test like that. There's probably better ways to do that. I just didn't have the time or patience. But for my purposes, I was satisfied with those results. The charger is another pro because you can take it wherever you want. You don't have to carry 2 chargers around, and it has 2 slots, whereas the one that my camera came with only had 1 slot. And the price, that was the biggest pro to me, if I'm gonna be honest. It's about 1/5 of the cost when you consider that you're getting 2 batteries instead of 1 Canon battery. And the very last pro is, I think the color looks cool. Doesn't matter because it's going to be in your camera, but we're going to give them as much credit as we can give them. Now let's talk about the bad. The bad isn't terrible, but it is an inconvenience. On my camera, which is the Canon M3, I do not get a battery display. It didn't give me an error message like a lot of the batteries that I saw. When people would stick aftermarket batteries in their Canon camera, it would pop up an error message saying an unsupported device or whatever. It didn't give me that, but it does not give me any sort of battery reading, so I do not know when this will shut down. It might shut down right now for all I know. Now, I did see pictures of some cameras that showed that it had the battery level on it, And that was honestly the reason I chose these batteries over other brands, because all the other ones basically said that they got an error message or the battery level never popped up. So that's a negative for me. It's not a huge negative, but it is a negative. Obviously, it being a little snug when you slide it in the camera is a con, but it's not a big deal either. And the last con would be that it doesn't last as long as the Canon batteries, but I also put that as a pro because when you consider the price, you wouldn't expect it to be as good as the Canon batteries. Now, would I suggest you buy these over any of the other aftermarket batteries that are out there? I have zero experience with those batteries, but this basically has the same issues that the other ones had, except for the fact that it does last longer than some of the other ones that I heard people complaining about. It does last a while, but you don't get the battery level indicator, which seems to be a pretty common complaint with these batteries. I would suggest that you do go for these because you at least know that they're gonna last a while. And if you're in the market for the LP-E17s, I think I got that number right, then you at least know from my experience that these work. Drop a comment and let me know if you have any experience with these batteries, or if you're using any aftermarket batteries and what your experience with those are. And to end this video, I'm gonna do like a lot of cool YouTubers do and read comments from my last video. So let's do this. My last video was actually my channel trailer, which is pretty cool. And the other cons I kind of touched on. It's a little snug when you slide it in. I should rephrase that differently. The other cons I kind of touched on. It's a little snug when you insert it. There's no good way to say that